Hello and welcome to the Particles, Plants and Patience podcast. I'm Tesni. I run my own plant shop here in North Wales, and I'm here tonight with Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm a mechanical engineer and all round fun time.
And Elliot.
Hi, I'm Elliot. I work for the NHS and live in Manchester.
Okay, and I'm going to start off with the first fact this week, and continuing on from last week, I'm going to be starting about. No, cut this bit. Okay. This week, we're going to be talking about space and facts about space. So I'm going to start off with my facts about plants in space. So we can actually grow plants in space. There are two experiments that have been going on in recent years, really. The first one's called Veggie, and the other one's called the Advanced Plant Habitat. And they're both basically the same thing, but one's for growing veg for the astronauts, and the other is for researching the plants and like sending them down, preserved back to the labs on Earth.
What vegetables are they growing?
Mainly like lettuce and like cabbage and stuff, that type of thing.
Lettuce and cabbage, what a lovely combination.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, they're working on literally. They're working on trying to grow like tomatoes and berries and stuff, but they're not doing it yet. So it's just lettuce and cabbage for the astronauts so far. But it also brings like happiness to them as well. When with the veggie experiment they've been doing, that is also to promote like happiness, because the astronauts actually like tend to the garden as well. Yeah. The other one, the APH, that's the other experiment. The people back on Earth, they just sort of watch the garden grow and see what happens without it being like disturbed.
Oh, so the astronauts don't have anything to do with the APH one, where they're just seeing what happens.
Just so literally like what?
Is the APH one like just in orbit, or is it like
so it's just like a little
distance?
No, it's on the like on where I don't know what are they in?
Space station, would it be?
Yeah, space station.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on there, but it's just like a little sort of box with like grow lights and stuff in. But
and it's just ignored but monitored from a
literally.
distance.
Yeah, there's 180 sensors in there to look at every movement that happens from the plants. So it's quite cool. Yeah,
that's pretty incredible though, that we're able to grow things.
Yeah,
in
it's
space.
really cool. And they're only like the size of a carry-on suitcase, so you can't actually like grow much in there. About 6 plants you can grow in there.
And they chose cabbage.
Yeah.
They could have chosen. Yeah,
I think it must have
6
been
plants. We could have strawberries, apples, like sweet things.
They must be the fastest thing to like root or something, because why would they grow cabbage first without tomato? Because I think tomatoes are a bit more tasty, but I don't know.
Yeah.
No, maybe I wonder if a space tomato would taste any different though.
A tomato.
Well, they were worried when they first started growing them that there was going to be like bad like bacteria and stuff in them to make them like you're not able to eat them. Mm-hmm. But then the astronauts did eat them; they didn't die. So
were they the test subjects in space? They were like, "While you're here in space, you should eat these."
I don't actually know that far into it, but I guess they did some tests in the lab first.
Yeah, could you imagine that? Like, these definitely won't kill you. We don't think.
Yeah. We do not think maybe-ish.
Please try
Who
them.
Knows? Yeah.
There's no.
I suppose it's a big consideration, like, just to sort of bring it all back to earth. That if we are ever to go out to space and live there long term, we're going to need to be able to grow food there. And if we're moving from one place to another, it's quite a long journey. I don't know whether it's not like popping to Tesco's.
Like Wally, when they're all eating like stuff out of a cup.
Yeah, dinner in a cup.
Mm-hmm.
But it's incredible.
The way they grow them is like they can't obviously use soil or water. Like the way I propagate plants is in water or obviously soil, but they use the clay pebbles that is also called leca, because then it won't drown the plant, and it's also like some growing medium as well. So they use clay pebbles instead of drowning the plants, because the water will float above them.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true. I'd never even considered the fact that you can't just You can't just
nothing. It doesn't just go down to the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll just...
They've got to do it in pebbles, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's my first fact. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next because I actually want to know. I feel like it could cause a bit of a discussion, this one. So, someone did the maths about how long it would take to walk to the moon, and they took, based on walking 3 miles an hour, which is kind of your standard pace of walking, it takes 83,330 hours, give or take, this still says. So that's 9.5 years to walk to the moon.
That's not
and
really that long.
My question would be, would you walk to if it was possible, would you walk to the moon in 9 hours? Like, you know, like a pilgrimage. People do pilgrimages that can be a year.
Are we talking about like a walk, like literally non-stop, like you have to keep walking, or like can you stop at like the buffet on the way, or I don't know.
I think the maths was done on you don't stop.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you just keep going.
I mean, if they put some sites on the way, like, I don't know, like hotel halfway and things like that, like, yeah, it would be quite an experience, but 9.5 years of walking non-stop to something that would always be quite far away, and then thinking that you're going to have to do the reverse journey again.
Yeah.
Maybe just get the train back.
Yeah. I don't think there's a train, but yeah.
I just don't know why you'd want to go to the moon. That might be a bit controversial, but what's the point?
I know what you mean.
You're daring to dream.
Yeah, but there's nothing up there. It's just
nothing there yet.
Yeah, but we've got Earth so far, and we're doing a rubbish job at that. So
yeah, exactly, we need more space, not less.
It's like you getting a bigger room, just more messier. Like that's what's going to happen.
But you could open the lunar branch of Botanical Bay Plants.
Well, they can grow plants on the moon, so you know I can do that.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you could just set up like a propagation farm on the moon after you've walked there non-stop.
Just of lettuce. Bring the lettuce on my back.
Do you think if we managed to go to the moon and we decided as a species we were going to go live there, how long do you think we would be on the moon before it would get its first McDonald's?
About a day. I think it would
go with us.
Journey.
Yeah.
I think it'd be like, do you remember when Pizza Hut sent a pizza into space to say that they were the first fast food in space?
So stupid.
They sent it to the space station. It was the most expensive pizza ever because it had to be shipped up there. I think McDonald's would do the same. They'd be like, we were the first fast food agency.
What's it called when it got there?
Oh, was it called?
I'd be interested to know.
I bet it was. Well, I mean, they're
I'm
cold
sure
when they come
be. From
North Wales to like from Colwyn Bay to my house. So like,
yeah,
I don't think they survived.
A 5-minute journey, cold already. That was an interesting fact that I wish I knew more about.
Yeah, I wish that I'd chosen that as my fact, but obviously.
Just I don't think I would walk the 9.5 years, but I'm pretty sure there would be people that if you had the option to walk for 9.5, I mean, you'd probably have to extend it to what, like 15 years if you wanted some reasonable breaks. I'm sure there would be people that would happily would be happy to do it.
But the thing is there wouldn't be anywhere to break. Like if you're saying it, like there'd be somewhere. Like if we did it now, breaking would just be stopping.
But how are we walking to the moon? Are we just walking in a diagonal, like up?
You have to
go
get
straight there. Yeah.
Like how are you doing it?
You get a real good run up, and then you jump.
Yeah. You get like a Coke bottle, loads of Mentos, and then just hold it.
That could work. Why did that not work?
This spins off really well into my other fact that I wasn't going to do straight after, but it works how we're going now. To escape the Earth's gravity, you have to be going 25,000 miles an hour.
Can you do that Coke and Mentos?
So I don't know if you could Coke and Mentos 25,000 miles an hour.
But I think I know what could get to 25,000 miles per hour. The people on the Aldi checkout, I think they could probably do it.
Ask an Aldi checkout person to throw me into space.
Just say that you're going to bag slowly and you'll be launched.
Put a barcode on the top of my head and they'll mistake me for like a bag of potatoes and fire me out.
That's how we'll get food up there as well. Just send it to Aldi.
Just threaten to pack at the till and they'll send it to you.
What goes that fast to actually do it, apart from
Probably a rocket. All right.
Yeah, but apart from that, obviously, listen to me first. Apart from that,
I don't know. I don't know how fast we've ever gone on land. Let me have a look at how fast we've ever gone on land. I think it's only like 1,000 or 2,000 miles per hour land speed record. It's not even fast. It's not even that fast. It is 763 miles an hour, and it was set in October 1997.
I mean, there's not been much improvement.
Yeah.
That's such a long time ago. Surely we would have made something now that can go faster.
Had, but that's Mach 1.016.
I thought we'd like done something like the speed of sound or something.
That is over the speed of sound.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Not the speed of light, Tesni. We haven't gone that fast.
No, I was saying sound, not light.
Yeah, it's still, apparently, it was done by the Bloodhound LSR in 1997, and it's still not been outdone. They've attempted to do it because the Bloodhounds still try and do it, but I think they've always had like setbacks and things go wrong, so they've never.
No one wants to be sick in a car that much.
Could you imagine if you really tripped over and imagine if you hit something, you just go through it and then launch over it.
That's how you get into space.
Yeah, that's how you do it. You'd hit a rock and just go flying. What could, other than a rocket, what goes that fast? I don't think there's anything designed to go 25,000 miles an hour.
Nothing that I can think of that is that fast. Like, I would say the fastest thing. There's nothing that naturally travels faster than the Bloodhound, right?
Tango when he sees a biscuit.
Yeah.
Tango's my dog, everyone.
Yeah, Tango when he sees a biscuit could get close. We could also send him up.
Just a loaf of bread. Tango.
Like, which one's the loaf of bread? No, I don't think there's anything that even goes
remotely
as fast as that.
No. I don't think I want to travel that fast, but I mean, I wonder how it feels being, when earlier in the year when we watched that rocket launch in America, and it was like, wow, look how fast that's going. Can you imagine having that much speed right behind you? Like, I feel like my stomach would go through me.
Yeah. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't see the point. It would not be good.
Yeah, you'd be like, I don't even know why I'm going here.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm going. I don't really care about
I don't even want to go to the moon. I just said for the banter. I'd be rubbish
clutching
at it.
your cabbages so that you can take them and start your business.
You don't even go up with your lettuces and cabbages.
If there was aliens up there, I'd understand, but we don't know if there are, so there'd be no point. There's just some rocks. Well, you don't know. You don't know. Yeah. I've got a cool fact about the moon. You know when Apollo landed on the moon and the astronauts came out, and they obviously made footprints in the
did they?
Surface. Well, that's my other thing I'm going to say in a minute. Yeah. But those footprints will not disappear from the moon for 100 million years.
Why?
That's a long time.
I see there's no cleaners on the moon.
No, because there's no there's obviously no atmosphere on the moon. There's no wind, there's no rain, there's no rivers or anything. So there's nothing to erode them away apart from micro meteorites, really tiny ones that are slowly eroding the moon. But that's still going to be 100 million years time to get rid of them. So anything they dumped out on the moon when they landed up there, just 100 million times before they get gone.
There might be a pizza box there by now, Yeah.
The rocks on the moon erode at 0.04 inches every 1 million years.
Oh my god.
That's just nothing. But I've got a cool thing. Well, not cool. Elliot, you might find it cool because you were being a conspiracy then. But the American flag, they don't know if the American flag is still on the moon yet. They have pictures of the footprints on the moon, but they haven't checked if the flag is still there or if it's been disappeared by UV rays, if it's still even visible.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
So why have they not checked? Is it even on the moon? Or is it just in some studio?
I think they're pointing the camera at the wrong angle. I think they probably just needed a better angle. It's all about the angles. So
but it's one of those the NASA probes that go around the moon to take pictures of it all. Why can't they just see the flags there or not?
Well, I assume the pole is still there and the flag itself will be there. It's just whether the colour has been bleached away because there's no atmosphere to protect it.
No, no. The
hinted on.
unsolved mystery is if it's even there anymore, not if the colour's there. So I
Ooh.
just I don't believe it was even put on there, really.
Oh my god.
I enjoy that conspiracy theory that no one ever landed on the moon.
It's a very interesting. I feel like we are going to definitely have to talk about different conspiracy theories at some point.
That's going to have to be a
I
spin-off
love
episode.
Conspiracy theories so much.
I feel like we could do an episode of conspiracy theory with some of them I love.
Yeah. But
Could you imagine though, in like, you know, when they go back to the moon in 5 years' time and they're like, oh shit, we didn't go. Like, we actually weren't there. It was a conspiracy.
I think they're so into the conspiracy now and so into the lie, they're never going to be able to get back from it.
It's
They just
quite
can't.
well believed, isn't it? It's like one of the most popular conspiracy theories ever. I'm just going to see how many people believe it.
Billions. About 7.
Yeah, no, because there's quite a lot of evidence that it didn't happen, but obviously, like, I'm not going to be one of the people who say it didn't happen because I wouldn't like to pinpoint that on a podcast.
You've outed yourself as a conspiracy theorist.
No, I just love a good conspiracy, and this is so much to back it up. Like, it just, like, the different shadows and stuff, it does have a lot to back it up.
When I was in high school, when we were in high school, we had this guy come who literally was he came and he was talking about why the moon landing was faked, and he was this big scientist guy, and he basically drew everyone in by being like, these are all the things that prove we didn't land on the moon. Look, the flag doesn't wave. Look, the angles of the sun, the shadows are completely wrong. All of these things are wrong. And then he went, and it's all complete rubbish made up by these people, and this is how you disprove it. And he just went through the whole thing and disproved
I just love it, though.
every single. It's interesting because that's what a conspiracy
It's
theory
so
is.
fun.
A conspiracy theory has to be one step away from you being bothered to prove that it's not true.
Yeah.
Like, I know that there's probably a reason that the shadows are at the wrong angles. And it's easy for someone to go, it's probably studio lights. But it's harder for me, or I can't be bothered to go and actually check what's the scientific reasoning behind it actually being at different angles.
But even if someone told me a scientific reason, I wouldn't know what they're saying to me anyway. So it's easier to believe a conspiracy theory.
Here's what the percentages are, though, of going to the moon. 4% of people believe it's definitely true that we didn't go. 12% believe that it's probably true that we didn't go. 9% don't know whether we went or not.
These are worrying numbers.
Yeah. And it says moon hoaxism was more prevalent among the young. 21, this is the scary thing, 21% of 24 to 35-year-olds agree the moon landings were staged.
Crazy.
Oh my god.
We're going back to the moon, you know. The older America is at
I
least.
know, we're walking there.
Yeah, we're walking 9.5 years, baby.
I remember Miss McKibben, which was my old history teacher, literally had a lesson to us about, I was doing history, this wasn't relevant, but about how the moon landing was fake. Like, it wasn't as a historical,
I don't know if he was allowed to teach you that, was he?
No, but it wasn't like even from a historical, what's the word? I can't remember. Point of view, yeah. It was just, the moon landing's fake. This is why. I was in A level at the time.
Oh no. It's just a really interesting one because there are so many people that you will meet that just won't believe that it happened.
Because some people say it was like fake because the Russians were trying to get there, but America was like, no, we're going to get there faster, and then they just did a fake one.
Yeah.
They faked. And then they could have got there at some point, but they just did a fake one before that.
It's amazing how much just tones with other things.
Everything's political. When you boil down everything, it is all just political.
It's just all political. But it makes a fun conspiracy.
Yeah, we went on a bit of a tangent then about conspiracy theories of did or didn't we go to the moon. Don't apologise, it's good.
Is the American flag on the moon? Basically, no.
Yeah. If anybody who listens to this can disprove that it's not there.
Yeah, if you're going to walk to the moon and tell me the American flag is there, then send me a picture. Yeah, I'd like to see.
If you have a spare 9.5 years and you really love walking, and you've also found a way to defy gravity, or you're very good with you're
Or
an
you've got
Aldi
a really
checkout
big-
person.
or a big
Coke.
Coke mental part.
Yeah. Then please go to the moon and let us know.
Yeah, I think we should write into NASA and say, have you considered using Aldi checkout staff or Mentos in your next rocket?
We should just be NASA. We know more than
Yeah.
NASA. They just do a good film.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. I've got another fact, but Elliot, I think you should go with yours first.
Well, mine is so much more serious than yours. Like, I didn't go down the funny route. I went down the wow, that's pretty cool route. So, we all know that Pluto, God rest its planet soul, is no longer a planet. But it's in an area with other planets, planet-ish things. Sorry. And there is one which I almost certainly now will mispronounce, called Haumea. Apologies. And it's a dwarf planet that's just beyond Neptune. It was discovered in 2004, so that's quite recent, really. And it was once collided into by an object so fast that it spins. It's one of the fastest spinning objects in our solar system. It's been so fast that, do you know, like when you get like a pizza dough and you spin it on your hand, and it's like it like flattens out. It's like a flat disc almost because it's spinning that fast. It's also got rings because, again, it's spinning that fast that it's got like rings like Saturn, obviously smaller. It's also got 2 lovely little moons. So, I mean, if we're going to be walking to the moon, I think we should just carry on and go to this place because it sounds quite snazzy.
So it's a flat planet.
It's not completely flat, but it's like more than an egg shape. Like it's really
Right.
like, I don't know how to say. It's like a 3D ellipse. Ellipse.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
I can't remember what the word is to the actual name of the shape, but it is an incredible like thing. It spins so fast that it's sort of squished.
That's insane.
Yeah,
It's crazy to
Could
think.
you imagine being knocked that fast and then spinning for
Yeah.
millions of years ago? It was bumped into and now it won't stop spinning.
It's like those spinning tops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Beyblades.
bigger and longer.
A bit more dangerous if you hit into it.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting as well because when you think of something spinning so fast that it sort of flattens itself out, like you use the pizza dough analogy, you think of it always being something that's like soft and squishy. But then when you think of a planet, you usually consider that to be solid, and it's somewhere it's solid. So for that to have even flattened, that speed must be
pretty
immense.
incredible.
It might be pizza dough. We don't know. It might be squidgy.
It might be cheese.
It might just be
That's
squidgy. Yeah.
amazing.
Oh yes, I apologise. When we go there in 9 years' time, we'll tell you what type of cheese the moon is. But just to put it into context, the mass of this planet, which I won't mispronounce again, is about 1/3 of that of Pluto, or 1/1400th of Earth. So it's pretty small. Like,
So it's just the size of a pizza, really.
okay.
If it's just a pizza in space.
Yeah.
Is it this pizza?
It's the
pizza?
Italians.
Yeah, they're just
Did it just keep
mistaken
going?
the pizza.
Yeah. But it's warmer there than it is here.
Oh my
And then
God.
just to bring it
Sorry.
bring it back, like another like I don't know whether it's spacey fact, but it's still quite interesting. It's to do with planets, I suppose. But something incredible is that the core theory about the Earth, that there's a molten core and all that, it's a theory. We have no idea.
Yeah,
We don't know what is
is
going on inside of our planet. It's just
I
a sort
love
of,
that.
it's incredible. Like we just don't know, and they've tried to drill, but they just can't get deep enough.
They can't get there. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then there's
so,
like other conspiracy theories and what's
Oh,
actually in
no.
the middle.
Yeah, no, let's not go down the conspiracy.
no, let's not
today.
go down that route.
But yeah, it's really interesting because her name was Inga Lehman, the person that discovered or created this theory of the shells of the Earth, if you want to call it that.
Like an onion.
Like an onion, yeah. And she looked at earthquakes, and she was looking at the way the waves travel through the core, and then they were refracting at different angles, so other places that shouldn't be shaking, I'm pretty sure, were like starting to shake, and they were like, what's happening? And so she wrote a paper on how she thinks there's other bits inside the Earth that isn't, because at that point they thought there was just one core, but now we're pretty sure there's lots of bits, but we don't know. It's like theory of, I'm pretty sure gravity is still a theory. There's some really something that's very, you know, built upon in science, and it's just a theory, but as is most of science, it's just people guessing and hoping that it gets proved right in years to come.
That's just ridiculous. That's why science is silly. We don't know anything. Really.
Maths is made up to prove what we need it to.
Yeah, no one really knows.
No.
Yeah, I think looking at Pluto, you know, for certainly our childhoods, Pluto was a planet. That was a fact. It just was. And now it isn't. That fact has been undone. And, you know, one day we could be saying, actually, the core is made out of marshmallow fluff, and actually we were wrong.
And we just have to believe it.
And we just have to believe it.
Yeah.
Drilling down.
Like, we can't say no. No, it's not.
It just shows how susceptible we are to misinformation in the modern era.
Oh my god.
Go on then. Go on, Elliot.
Getting political again, I'm sure.
Fake news.
Okay,
yes.
So my next fact is I heard it from TikTok by the great Hank Green.
Yes.
As we all love him.
Love Hank.
I think he's brilliant. And the fact is, the sun's surface isn't actually that hot. The core and the atmosphere of the sun is so much hotter than the actual sun. The core of the sun is 15 million degrees, and then it steadily decreases to only like 6,000 degrees on the actual surface of the sun.
Practically balmy, that.
Yeah, I know. So when people say hot on the surface of the sun, not even that hot.
I mean, I would survive.
Beach.
No, don't go touch it.
Would I survive it?
But if you wanted something really hot, you say the core or the atmosphere. That's what's hot. But yeah.
So if anybody's like, "Oh my god, you're as hot as the surface of the sun," you'd be like, "Well, that's a bit insulting, really." I'm not accepting that as a compliment.
Yeah, I want to be the core or the atmosphere. I don't want to be the surface, please.
That's going to be the quickest sort of blocking of. If you said, "Actually, I think I'm hot as the atmosphere or core," you would not be having that conversation for very long.
No. And then I wouldn't be able to say any more reasoning behind it. I'd just say, yeah, that's it. That's what I want. I have no facts behind it.
I watched a TikTok. I think you'll find I'm very informed.
So,
I've got to say, when I wrote this fact down, I had a couple of rum and cokes. I can't
so it's not even reliable.
No, it is. I got some sources by ScienceDaily.com and by NASA as well. So it's not just Hank Green that's saying this.
I thought we didn't trust NASA because they faked the moon.
Well, they might be faking this. Hank Green might be on in it. He might be faking it as well. They might all be faking it. It might be cold. I don't know.
It might be cold. Well, speaking about the sun, like the big ball of gas in the sky, one day, probably quite soon, it's going to emit such a high amount of like a solar flare that it could potentially, if the waves are in alignment, which sounds really chakra-y, like disrupt power supplies. Like it would overload, it would induce a current in all of the wires that transmit our electricity up and down the country, across the world, all of the wires inside of your phone, your laptop, everything, the things we're recording this on, and it would break them. They'd break. It would surge the whole system, and it would mean that we would be without power, which would be an incredible. I just can't consider how that would be. It would be awful. How fragile we are still to that massive ball in the sky.
Solar flares, they still have to account for when they're making stuff as well, because they do still interact with things quite often. If we know we're going to have a big solar flare, we in tech at least, I know they do have to consider how that's going to affect things, because it does interfere with it's the electromagnetic radiation, isn't it? I think. Yeah. So the
it induces the current in the wire, electromagnetism, isn't it? I've casting my mind back.
Physics days.
Yes, and as that happens, it overloads the electricity supply, and if it drifts by something like 1%, that's enough to send everything off. And these transformers are not cheap nor easy to get. So we could be in quite a dire situation. So in that case, we'll start writing these podcasts as letters instead and send them out to our dear listeners. Handwritten, of course.
Handwritten, typewritten.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
What do you think space smells like?
Vanilla.
Yeah.
It's pretty basic.
I've literally no clue. Plants.
Plants. It smells like plants.
Soil.
Well, they did an interview with Tim Peake, the UK astronaut, and there's been a few people that have described the ways it smells in the past. Nobody's really been... No one fully agrees, but there's the same sort of vibe to the smells. So they say it either smells like seared steak, hot metal, welding fumes, and barbecues. So it's the kind of metallic cooking smell thing. But there are some suggestions that the smell originates from the spacesuit itself, with certain components off-gassing because they're exposed to the vacuum and thermal extremes. So it's just the spacesuit reacting to stuff that's the smell. But that's what all the astronauts, when they've asked what does it smell like, they've said barbecues, steak, and metal.
Not very nice, really.
You're saying the suits are making them smell like that, and it smells like barbecues. That's not like they're
Cooking.
Are they being
like they're not
barbecues?
cooking, are they? Like, that's just a bit much.
Yeah, Tim Peake is now medium rare. Like,
Oh, that's a bit gross.
It's not them that they can smell. It is space.
No, I
but
know.
They're saying that it might be the actual suit that they can smell afterwards.
and not actually
when they get
space.
out.
one of them should just take off their helmet and have a sniff. That's what I think.
See what happens.
Yeah. It's
What
probably
does
not even
happen?
real.
Yeah, what does that? Yeah, it could all just be a simulation, really.
Yeah,
It
we're
might
all
not
in-
be in space.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not go there.
Elliot doesn't even want to go there.
I don't want to go there.
No, let's not.
Stop, Tesni. Well, I think that might be all we have time for on the podcast, as we are on a Zoom call and it does end within 40 minutes as we're all poor.
We're cheap.
But thank you everyone for listening, and let us know what type of podcast you want to hear from us next time. You can find us on our social medias, and let me just get those up. Oh my god, where have they gone? I don't know where they've gone.
I can give them to you if you want.
Yeah, you give them to me.
Okay, so the Particles, Plants and Patience one, the Instagram is at Particles, Plants and Patience. The Twitter is at the 3P podcast, and that's the number 3 and then the letter P. Tesni, where can they find you?
On Instagram, you can find me at botanical_babe with 2 E's, and on Twitter, just Tesni Belgian _.
Elliot, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Elliot Griffiths98 and on Twitter at Elliot Griff98, where I have no followers.
And for me on Instagram and Twitter, they are both, it's spelt Rachel, AEL at the end.
And we will be having a YouTube channel very soon where you can watch this podcast as well, and just see the live backgrounds that I was doing throughout.
Yeah, really living.
No one seemed to have noticed or even laughed about.
I did see them.
I saw them and thought, does she understand this as a podcast?
Yeah, no, I know. I was seeing if you were going to laugh about it and then have everyone else wonder, what on earth are they laughing about? But yeah, I was in Rachel's kitchen at one point.
Yes, you were.
But yeah, thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.